Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave, and as you might be able to tell, I've been working on the layout. It's currently Sunday morning, well, at least for another 15 or 20 minutes, and I spent all day yesterday out here in the garage working on the tables for the layout expansion. It all went pretty well. A couple of hiccups along the way, a couple of bad measurements, a couple of design things I changed along the way, but I was able to construct the frame for both sides of the layout. One of the things I like about the way that I do the layout is that the woodwork doesn't really matter. I don't need to worry about making it look good because it's going to be 100% hidden. And that makes me happy because the measurements, while important, aren't critical. So if I'm a quarter of an inch off somewhere, it really doesn't matter. It's just a skeletal structure that holds everything up. It's a little wobbly, so I'll be doing a little bit more bracing on it before proceeding onto the other table. One of the poor measurements that happened was that I had gotten to a point where I had the height of the table, I had temporary legs, and I had secured a 2x4 to the wall before I realized that when I checked for the overall height, I didn't actually check with a piece of track with roadbed under it. I had checked the top level of the track, but not specifically the proper track and roadbed setup that I'll be using. So once I did that, I had to readjust everything. And the table is actually 3/4 of an inch higher than I expected based on those earlier measurements. Luckily, I was able to deal with that. It was better than lower, where I might have had to remove the 2x4 off the wall, because I secured that to the wall with liquid nails and some really big nails. I drill the pilot holes, I put these big nails in there, and then I put liquid nails on the other side of the hole and just across the board. Hold the board on the wall and just bang those nails right into the concrete. I'm sure there are much better ways, but so far it's worked pretty well for me. And I like that I haven't needed special tools to get it done. Now that I have the height of this table set, I've got the permanent legs installed. They might need some bracing, or they might not, it depends. I'll probably put another leg under the table, probably right there in the middle, kind of just to help support it, but really it doesn't need it. I've got it all pretty much set, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. I'd say my goal was getting at least this main table framed out, but I was able to get this table and the smaller one framed out as well. I still have to frame out the thin section that runs back to the other side of the layout, but that should not take a lot of time. I knew the basic shape that I wanted for the tables, so I framed them up, put them in place, and then looked at them to see what kind of adjustments I needed to make. At first, I just balanced each frame on top of the table that was already here, just to get an idea of how it fit the space. This table here is actually a good deal lower than the rest of the layout, including this table back here. I wanted this one a good bit lower. I think it's a total of about 4 inches lower. I wanted the track to be up higher and the town or whatever ends up here to be lower. I wanted maybe a couple of tunnels going under the track. I wanted it to be different than the rest of the layout, but I also wanted to try a couple different things. I still plan on stacking foam. I'll put a 2-inch piece of foam on top of the table, and then I've got 2 more sheets that I can stack up, plan out exactly where the track's going to go, and then cut those top 2 layers down so that they're only under the track. I could also start that way and then support the track with wood instead. So I haven't decided yet, but I know I want to do things a little differently on this section than I have anywhere else. This table is at the same height as the rest of the layout, and I'll just put a 2-inch piece of foam up here. I wanted to be able to have different levels to kind of give you more depth. We've got the big mountain over here outside of the camera right now, and then this is going to be lower, and I wanted this one to be higher, and then, but still flat, and then it goes up to the mountain. Initially, when I built the table, this here was squared out. I built it that way because I knew that was the general shape of the table. I did not know how it was going to feel coming through here. So I built it squared off and then stood there and looked at the shape of it and how it looked looking towards the bridge. I decided to cut the entire square and add this angled piece here. And that way it really kind of flows from this side and then through towards the bridge. After I figured out kind of where the bridge was going to go, I did the same thing to the left side, just to the left of the bridge. I cut that corner off and reframed it with an angled piece. And I feel like the whole thing kind of flows now, whereas before it kind of went straight and then there was this notch and you couldn't really see anything. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this has turned out so far. There is just under 2 foot 3 inches between the frames, and that's about what I had planned on. I am going to bring the layout down over the frame like I did on the rest of the layout, so that will take up some space, whether it's 2 inches or 4 inches worth, but either way it will end up getting shaved down. So I think it's plenty of room to get in here and work on the layout and sit and take pictures. And honestly, I can't wait to sit over there by the bridge and just watch the trains come through the room. Of course, I'm gonna have to do a lot of cleaning because I can't see part of the layout from there. But yeah, that's a problem for another day. I didn't know how I was gonna support the bridge or where it was gonna go or where it was gonna fit in, other than a basic idea. So I built the tables without any consideration of the bridge itself. So I had to frame out there to the left side to give a support to the bridge. And then I've got a board supporting the right side. That's not done. It's just a placeholder for now. If I build everything with foam on the big table, I might just support the bridge with the foam on the right side. It's going to be one of those things that I figure out as I go. I have 3 corners here that I probably will not keep. This is a pretty sharp corner for sticking out into the middle of the room. Once I figure out where the track is going to come towards this table and where it's going to end up and however I'm going to build a lift bridge, I'll probably cut at least a little bit off the corner just so that it is at least visually rounded a little bit. And hopefully I'll walk into it less. This corner over here, I'd like to take a little bit off of. I'll probably just mirror whatever I do on this side. This corner over here on the shallow table, that's going to depend on where the track is located for the inner loop coming back to the rest of the layout. I'm not a cabinet maker. I'm not a furniture builder. I didn't worry about any fancy joints. I didn't worry about hiding the screws. I just wanted the screws to be embedded in the wood a little bit so that they didn't stick out. I used these construction screws with a Torx head. They're 2 inches long, partially because that's what I had on hand, but also I like working with the ones with the Torx head because they slip a lot less than a Phillips. A little easier to use as far as I'm concerned. I also used wood glue on all the seams, and I think that makes a really big difference. Even if the screws loosen up over time, that wood glue is really going to keep it sturdy. This big table needs a little bit more bracing inside so that it doesn't wobble as much. It kind of shakes back and forth. I could add some more 45-degree braces, but I also might just wait until I put down the first layer of foam, because I glue the foam to the table. So once I glue that big piece of foam to the table, it's going to kind of reinforce the whole thing, and it really shouldn't wobble anymore. I did not build either of these with the idea of standing on them at any point. If I did, I'd probably have a few more legs under each part, but I'm hoping that I never need to stand on them. If I do, maybe I'll build some temporary 2x4 legs to wedge under there. Hopefully I just never have to worry about it. I have to build the other 1x4 section. It will be right about here, maybe 5 inches wide, all the way down this length. And then this bridge will go here. And I want to put a Lionel girder bridge on either side. Overall, I am thrilled with the progress. And I wish I didn't have to go to work tomorrow. I'd love to just come back out here first thing in the morning and start working on the layout again. But sometimes it's healthy to take a break and work on something else. Couldn't fall asleep last night because I was thinking about the layout. So maybe I do need a break. Either way, I'm super excited to have made the progress, and I cannot wait to make more. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.